I'm Jonathan Feniak. I'm an attorney. I'm the lead attorney with LLCattorney.com. Here is the truth. I've said it before. I'll say it again. Most small businesses are way better off with an LLC, forming an LLC, than a corporation. LLCs have a simpler management structure. Corporations have shareholders who appoint a board, and the board appoints officers. And there's formal meeting minutes that have to be maintained at each of these different levels. LLCs don't. You can have member-managed LLC. There's only one level. The members run the company. Hours of paperwork are required to run a corporation properly. Tax flexibility, LLCs can be taxed as a disregarded entity. They can be taxed as a partnership. They can be taxed as an S-Corp. They can be taxed as a C-Corp. You have all the options. If really what you're looking for is not a corporation, but C-Corp tax status, then you can accomplish your goals with an LLC. There's no double taxation with an LLC. If you form a corporation and don't know what you're doing, you are going to be assigned and classified as a C Corp. C corporations have double taxation. They're taxed at the corporate level, and then they're taxed again when a dividend is made to the owners of the company. That's not what happens. Your default classification for an LLC is either going to be a disregarded entity, meaning the owner puts it all in their tax personal return, or it's going to be a partnership where you file a partnership return and issue K-1s, but in both those cases, only a single level of taxation. There's fewer compliance requirements with an LLC. Again, because you don't have shareholders, board, officers, you only have potentially just members or member managers. Corporate formality can be with an LLC. So the limited liability protection is going to be easier to maintain if you don't follow corporate formalities. You don't do the things that the articles of incorporation or the bylaws say. You have completely undermined your limited liability protection. Asset protection for LLCs, if you follow all the rules, is going to be the same for a corporation and an LLC, right? The thing here, though, is that LLCs have a lot less rules, so there's less opportunity to mess up. So I'm going to say that, assuming you don't know what you're doing, there's less asset protection with a corporation. I hear this all the time. I hear from accountants, right? Well, you want to be treated as an S-Corp, so go form a corporation so we can make an S-Corp tax election, right? S-Corps are a tax election, right? You don't need a corporation to make an S-Corp tax election. And making your corporation an S-Corp does not relieve you of the responsibility to keep all of those three levels, the shareholders, the board, and the officers, and all the meetings and corporate compliance that goes along with it. So if you form a corporation, right, the default tax classification when you go to get an EIN, they are going to issue an EIN that is a C Corp. The C Corp is an entity that pays taxes on its own. It has its own tax rates. In most cases, it's got tax rates at the federal level, and I guess in all cases it has tax rate at the federal level, which is currently 21%, but it probably also has corporate tax at the state level. So you've got not just double taxation, potentially triple taxation, right, on a C Corp tax election. So the profits are taxed at the corporate level, and then when they are distributed as dividends, they're going to be taxed again. So this is a good tax election type, right? You don't need a corporation to do it, but the C Corp tax election may be good for you if you're planning to reinvest the profits back into the company, right? So that's a good reason to have that C Corp tax election. You don't need the corporation to do it, however. So separate these two things in your mind. Tax election, entity type, and they are mix and match. So get the flexibility without the additional burden. S-Corp tax election. This is the one I hear accountants. We want to make an S-Corp. You'd benefit from S-Corp. Okay, great. The people corp, and they go out and they form a corporation so they can get the S-Corp tax election. You don't need that, right? You can have an LLC that files Form 2553 and elects to be treated as an S-Corp. You can also have a corporation that files 2553 and elects to be treated as an S-Corp. S-Corps do have pass-through taxation, and the advantage with them, there's not double, but it does allow you to potentially reduce your FICA taxes. FICA taxes or taxes, those are like 15.3%. They go to, at least this year, about $175,000, and then there's another part that goes above that, but you can potentially save money on those self-employment taxes by making an S-Corp tax election, but You don't need to have a corporation to do it. You can do it with an LLC. So it's pass-through taxation with some additional benefits on the tax savings side. You can elect to be treated as an S-Corp at any point in time, right? You must elect, though, you can only go backwards 2.5 months or at the start of the tax year. So you do have to make a choice on this. And what I recommend is do your LLC and then evaluate each year. Speak to your tax professional. Would I benefit from being an S-Corp in this coming year based on my pro formas and my business plan and so on and so forth? So we're going to show you a side-by-side tax calculations here. But the S-Corp tax election, right, disregarded entity tax election or partnership tax election, those are math problems, right? If the math is math, and I like to say, then go forward, run with it, man. If it's not, if the math ain't mathin', then don't do it, okay? But the business type is not going to have anything to do with those tax elections. So corporate formation process. You've gotten to this point, corporation, remember, corporation entity type, LLC entity type, C-Corp, S-Corp, tax election type. If I can do anything in my life, just get people to say that right, I've got a C-Corp. No, you don't. Because then you've just got a tax election. What type of entity do you have? But anyway, ultimately, if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe for more business information tips. And I'm Jonathan Feniak. I'm an attorney with LLCattorney.com. We're not a law firm, but we help you build legally sound business structures that will deliver on the protection and other benefits that you want. Thank you. See you next time.